Right, hello, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under. And yes, the transfer window is shut, it is closed, it can no longer be open till some point through June. And Celtic, we had a busy yet not frantic, I'd say, transfer window, as we saw during the start of the season. Before we go any further though, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to help the channel grow, and I'd be forever appreciative of you guys if you did that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, how this is going to go, I think we'll talk about each individual signing individually. That makes sense. Then we'll give them a rating, and then we'll look at them all together in the grand scheme of things. And we'll give everything a rating out of 10. Let's say that. So, firstly, the incomings, and we'll do this in chronological order. And of course, we have to start with our Japanese boys. And you know what? Let's start with Rio. So, we signed Rio Hatate from Kawasaki Frontale for roughly £1.4 million. He was named in the J-League Team of the Year at right wing prior to his arrival, although it had been reported that he was being looked at to play in the left back or centre mid position, leaving many to wonder what his best position is, because he looked like a jack of all trades, which he certainly is. But that question was answered in his first match for the Celts and reinforced in the second. Right bang in the centre, box-to-box midfielder. The lad has been absolutely outstanding since his arrival and has impressed Celtic fans the most, especially due to the lack of game time. Daisen and Yusuke Itaguchi have seen. Rio has become the fan favourite. Now, he was awarded man of the match against Hibs. Probably would have won it against Hearts as well if it wasn't for another new signing's incredible performance. But it was an absolute, it was a genius piece of deal from everyone involved that did not break the bank. You know, we've signed someone who has already become a fan favourite in a position which Celtic right now, have been needing a lot of reinforcement in. And he can score distant bangers. Not to mention, he can literally play anywhere on the field except probably in net, because he looks like he's 5'6". 10 out of 10 for me. Perfect deal. Absolutely perfect. Moving on to our second New Year's Day arrival, and Daisen Maeda could not have kicked off his Celtic career in better fashion. In his first appearance and starting debut for the club since he completed his loan move with an option to buy for £1.68 million in the summer, in our summer, and your winter, from his former club, which is funnily enough Ange's former club, Yokohama F. Marinos. He scored just over 3 minutes into the contest against Hibs. Although he didn't score again, that whole night his pace caused absolute nightmares for Hibs. You know, the backline was absolutely shitting bricks every time Daisen Maeda was running at them, both attacking and defending. We haven't seen much of him, although he put in a very strong performance against Alawa, I'd say. Although he didn't get on the score sheet, he wasn't clinical, but he was certainly very strong. You know, I wouldn't say strong, but he was getting into the right positions. You know, he was doing everything he needed to do correctly. It was just he had to finish him off. But you know, that comes and goes, especially when you're playing on a pitch like Recreation Park. However, I would still say this is a great bit of deal. He strengthened the attacking ranks, especially with the uncertainty surrounding Kyogo. Is a shame that he got called up to the Japanese squad, but 10 out of 10 signing from me. With all things considered, I think this is a 10 out of 10 signing. And also, he's only 24 years old. He has the ability to play on either wing and through the middle. I think great signing. 10 out of 10. This then leads to Yusuke Itaguchi, the most unexpected transfer of the three Japanese boys, that is, arriving at Celtic for around £875,000. He was an unexpected signing, but clearly one that Ange felt Celtic needed to do, and one that he pushed through the door. Now, while we haven't seen much of Itaguchi at all, you know, it's certainly a no-risk deal in the fact that we got him for extremely cheap, not even £1 million. He's a solid player, you know, he's nothing incredible, but he does everything that is asked of him, and he does it to the best standard possible. And he could be a very handy player to have in our ranks for the remainder of this season. And certainly in the immediate future, he could come in handy on Wednesday night if Callum McGregor is unable to return from his injury and Nearbaton suspended. If Yusuke Itaguchi can overcome the ankle issue he's suffering from the Alawa game, from a dog tackle, But if he can overcome that, we could be seeing him in that CDM role behind both Rio and Matt O'Reilly on Wednesday night. Very interesting to see what happens there. Look, I can't make much of a judgment on what I think of this deal, really, because we haven't seen enough of him. You know, he got 15 minutes against Hibs, then he had to be taken off midway through the Alaba game. So we haven't seen much of him, no fault of his own. But you know what? I think there isn't really a potential factor, but I think he certainly adds a lot of quality depth to the team. And you know what? If Ange has made this signing, I completely back it. Of course Ange has made this signing. Who am I kidding? But I don't think he's going to have the same impact as both Rio and Dyson. So I'm going to give this transfer a 7 out of 10. Maybe a bit harsh, but I think it's a high 7. Moving on, and the next signing was one I had very little knowledge about. You know, I can't say I knew too much of the lad before he signed. When the rumours started, I was bedridden, and when he signed for Celtic, I was also bedridden, so I didn't make a video on him, and I was really sick, and I really was not in the mood to, you know, research who he was. But, so if you are... By the way, it's Johnny Kenny. If I've led you astray, it is Johnny Kenny. A Republic of Ireland youngster who moved from Sligo Rovers for an initial £150,000, and incentives could double or triple that fee, but £150,000 straight up. What it is a no-risk investment, without a doubt. We'll get on more on that later. Now, he arrived with an injury, so obviously we have not seen anything of him in a Celtic jersey as of yet. I can't say I've seen much of him play, so if you are a League of Ireland fan and you know a bit about this kid, leave it in the comments below. I'd like to hear your insights. But he's certainly a lad who has a lot of potential, and that's the main thing I think everyone's taking away or took away from this deal, is that he's only 18 years old, so he won't be knocking on the door of the first team just yet, of the starting 11 just yet. But in the coming years, as he develops as a footballer, he certainly can be that player who could be pushing for a starting spot and providing healthy competition in the team. So look, it certainly is a long-term investment because he is 18 years old, but it is also a no-risk investment because £150,000, even if that doubles or triples, that is a smidgen of Celtic's transfer budget. It is an absolute bargain for any player, you know, especially for someone who's been touted as, who is apparently linked to, I think I read Liverpool somewhere. I knew Hibs were definitely seriously interested in him, but I think it's a smart deal, all pieces around. You know, obviously, How influential will he be to this season for Celtic? I can't really make a judgment on that, and it's going to hinder what I give him a bit. So I'd assume he wouldn't make much of an impact at Celtic. So I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 purely because the potential factor is really high, and the fact that we paid £150,000 also boosts that up. So 7 out of 10 from me. And moving into the final transfer of this window, he was linked to Celtic and arrived at Celtic within the span of, 2 days, if that. It's Matt O'Reilly. What a legend. Love Matt O'Reilly. You know, he, like Rio Hatate, he arrived for around £1.5 million. He debuted for Celtic with a first team start and took out the Man of the Match award in the exact same game, assisting Georgios Giakoumakis' winner, introducing him to all of us fans. And he is a player. There is no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. 6'2"-ish, 21 years old, a Tom Rogic replica, the best Tom Rogic replica you will find in the world of football. What more could you want? You know, he put out a very strong performance against Dundee United. Maybe he should have scored a goal. He was unlucky. He was very well denied by Seagrest with a header. You know, he's showing that he is on form, and I say this all the time, but a player on form is a very dangerous player and one you do not want to be messing with. You know, and he's heading into an all-important derby match with that all-important form. And personally, I love him already. I think he is going to be a star for Celtic. I think all the hype was around our Japanese signings, but I think Matt O'Reilly could certainly be a star for Celtic, and he is going to be so crucial for us this year. Unlike someone like Johnny Kenny, who's 18, he's really young still. Like Matt O'Reilly's still pretty young, but I think Matt O'Reilly is going to be absolutely crucial for us this year. You know, he's proving already to be a great signing. He was pretty much one of the reasons we won against Hearts. You know, he wasn't the reason we won against Dundee United, but he could certainly have been. And, you know, he is going to be an absolutely incredible backup for Tom Rogic. You know, I still believe when Tom Rogic returns. A healthy and fit Tom Rogic is one of the best players in the league. 100% I have him in that starting team. I think Matt O'Reilly is the perfect backup for him. However, and the best thing about this is that he's able to learn from Tom Rogic now. Because, they're both similar builds. They both have similar playing styles using their physical aspect and a bit of trickery. O'Reilly has a lot to learn from Rogic, and it will be so influential into his career. I think because in 3 or 4 years, when Tom Rogic's feet, they can't dance as well, if you get what I'm saying, O'Reilly will be able to make an absolutely seamless transition into the exact same role Rogic played. If you can't tell, big fan of Matt O'Reilly. I think he's going to be crucial, and I think he could really, 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 like, if you're not convinced on him as of yet, I think Wednesday night could be that difference maker if things go to plan. So for me, 10 out of 10 signing, all things considered, £1.5 million. He's in the starting team right now. He's the perfect replacement for Tom Rogic, who we have to remember has had his fair share of injuries over the past years. Even this year, he was sidelined for a month with a hamstring injury. If it happens again, prior to Matt O'Reilly signing, we didn't have a backup for him. Turnbull was injured, but now we have. I'm fully confident with that. So 5 players in, we've had an incredible window in my eyes. I think it wasn't as frantic. We didn't bring in as many players, obviously, as we did in the summer, or your summer, my winter. But all things considered, I think all these signings have been smart. I think they've been done very well. I think we've saved so much money somehow. The most we will pay is 1.68 million for Dyson Maeda if we do activate that buyout clause. And I think it's been incredible. So if we average out the ratings, averaging them out, it's a 44.8 out of 50. No. It's an 8.8 out of 10. My maths is off. 8.8 out of 10. That's the average rating of my transfer window. But who gives a shit about maths? For me, 10 out of 10 window. I think for the players that we've brought in, they've been smart. We've added to the squad with quality depth, and I think we certainly have a team that can easily win the league without a doubt. And obviously, we missed out on Riley McGree. I think Matt O'Reilly fills that void. We missed out. We didn't sign Lee Buchanan, who a lot of fans, I think, wanted to see us sign. I don't think left back is a position we really need to fill right now. I think that can wait till the off season, but is what it is. So yeah, that is all from me. 10 out of 10 transfer window in terms of players coming in, and yeah. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments below who your favorite signing of the window was. I think it's hard to go against the Japanese boys, but I think I have to, it's a tie between, I don't know. I'm leaving it up to you guys. Who do you guys think who was your favorite signing of the transfer window? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, which is tomorrow, for the best match preview you will see all season. Until next time, and until tomorrow. Hail, hail.